Hey everyone, Eric here again with a video game review. This time of two different games, which are actually based on the same game. We've got Life Force for the Nintendo NES and Salamander for the PC Engine. These are both based on the arcade game Salamander, which was released by Konami in 1986. And then the United States got their Nintendo NES port, which was titled Life Force. That's what the title was used for in the West for this game. In 1988, and then the Japanese PC Engine actually got a port in 1991. Both of these are really good games on the respective systems. Both of these were released by Konami at a time before they became, well, you know. So definitely released during a happier times for Konami. Let's take a look at these two games and see what the differences are between the two of them. Alright, Life Force for the Nintendo NES and Salamander for the PC Engine. Let's take a look at Life Force first for the Nintendo NES, and mine's the older copy, so it's got the black, round Nintendo seal of quality on it. But you can see the artwork's pretty much the same between the two, but we'll get into the gameplay of this one first, and we'll talk about the differences. Alright, so here we have the title screen with no music or animation. Kind of boring. And as you can see, it's very similar to Salamander at first when you see it, but this game actually uses the gradius power-up system, which is a little bit more complicated. So you have to collect these little power-up things, and then each time you collect one, it moves that meter down at the bottom of the screen, and you use the A button to select which power-up you want. I'm not a huge fan of that system. That's one of the few things I don't like about the Gradius series, but that's what they opted to use here in Life Force for the Nintendo NES. Another thing about this game too is memorization is kind of key. The terrain changes quite a bit on you pretty quickly, so if you're not familiar with what's going to happen, you can get screwed pretty quick. And the main storyline of this game is that you're inside some giant cosmic alien who's been infected with something. That's why the enemies and everything look kind of biological. You can see I can barely grab that power up there. It's definitely a chore to power up your ship, so when you die in this game, it's kind of frustrating when you've spent all that time powering up your ship. In the later levels, it can kind of screw you. But at least when you die in this game, you start off right where you died, and you actually have the chance to grab your options. They stay on the screen for a second, so in Salamander, if you die, you actually start at a predefined checkpoint. I love these bloody spike things coming out of the walls and ceiling. Now another difference in this game is that the B button fires your missiles and your lasers at the same time, whereas in Salamander you have a separate button for each. And I'm sure that's because in this button, or in this game, you use the A button to select the power up down in the meter. I found a hidden extra guy. That was pretty cool. This is one of the Konami NES games too that you can use the Konami code at the title screen, and you can start with 30 guys instead of the normal 3. And this is my least favorite part of the level, trying to blast through this stuff. You can get screwed here pretty quickly, especially the NES can only have a certain amount of the stuff shot out at the time, so it's really hard to get it not to close on you. And there, it closed on me, so I lost most of my power-ups, but I was able to collect my options back again real quick at least. And here we have the first boss. He's not too difficult. A giant brain with arms. That's interesting. In a minute, an eyeball will pop out of the front, and that's what you shoot to defeat him. But yeah, not too difficult. And here's one of the special things about Life Force / Salamander is that some of the levels are horizontal scrolling and some of them are vertical. So level 2 is vertical. And now that we've got an idea of what Life Force on the NES looks like, let's take a look at Salamander on the PC Engine. Alright, now we have Salamander for the PC Engine, or the TurboGrafx 16 in the US. And I love collecting complete PC Engine games. They're cheaper to collect. Look at the artwork is awesome. Even though the manual's in Japanese, it's still cool to look at. I got the registration card. Look at all this stuff. This is awesome. Love this stuff. What is this? Hell yeah, gradius. And then the artwork is the same here on the hue card. Let's take a look at some of the gameplay for Salamander for the PC Engine. Love that old school Konami logo. And here we have a title screen with animation and sound effects and music. So much better than just a stationary title screen with no music or sound effects. Alright, that's enough music. Let's get started. Now off the bat you'll notice the sound effect and music is nicer, but that's because this game's a few years newer. And also you'll notice the power-up system is different. Look at how much more powered up my ship is already than it was at this point in Life Force. So I do like this power-up system better, and it feels less dire when you die. You're able to power your ship back up again quicker. Now another difference you'll notice is that it kind of pans up and down the level, and I don't like that. I prefer Life Force where you can kind of see the whole level on the screen. But this game, like I said, it moves quicker overall. The music sounds better, I think. It almost has a meaty quality to it. I mean, look, I've already got 4 options now. Another difference is in Salamander, if you die, you don't reappear automatically where you were. It actually starts you back off at a checkpoint, which kind of sucks. So, for example, on this first level, if you die on the boss, it starts you right back at the beginning of the Bloody Spikes part. And I'm able just to plow through here because I'm so much more powered up, which is fun. Once again, my least favorite part. Let's see if we can make it through unscathed this time. Now, I think the first boss in Salamander on the PC Engine is a little bit more difficult than the first boss in Life Force on the NES, and you'll see why. Definitely feels a lot more cramped quarters here. And just barely squeezing through there without getting hit. I love that animation too, where it goes to a vertical scrolling level. It doesn't do that in the NES. So yeah, that's Salamander for the PC Engine. I will say I do prefer this version of the game over Life Force for the Nintendo NES, but both games are must-own games on their respective systems. So if you've got an NES, you need to have Life Force, and if you've got a PC Engine or if you've got a TurboGrafx 16 system that's either region modded or you have a way to play PC Engine games, you definitely want to pick up Salamander on the PC Engine. It's not expensive. It's a relatively cheap game to import. Life Force is not a expensive game, but not a cheap game on the NES, but it's readily available. It's not rare by any stretch of the imagination. So that's it. That's been my review of Life Force on the NES and Salamander on the PC Engine. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and let me know down in the comments what some of your favorite PC Engine and Nintendo NES games are. Hey, thanks again for watching. If you've got a minute, why don't you check out my last review, which is of Sega 3D Classics Collection for the Nintendo 3DS. Or I've got some pretty cool NES and PC Engine reviews here also you can check out. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and check out my links to social media junk down in the description.